This story contains spoilers for the fall of the House of Usher. With Mike Flanagan latest, the Edgar Allan Poe-inspired The Fall of the House of Usher, production designer Laurin Kelsey had a lot of houses on her hands. The Netflix horror series goes full tilt into Poe, complete with episode titles referencing one of his notable works, and the main home of the series patriarch, played by Bruce Greenwood, being a twist on the one featured in the late writer's original short story. It also stars Mary McDonnell, Henry Thomas, Chania Miller, Samantha Sloyan, Rahul Kohli, Kate Siegel, Sauriyan Sapkota, Kyliegh Curran, Carla Gugino, Lumbly, Zack, Gilford, and Willa Fitzgerald. The Fall of the House of Usher follows the lives and deaths that surround siblings Roderick and Madeline Usher, the ruthless founders of the Fortunato Pharmaceuticals empire. Literally built on the pain of others, their families' wealth, privilege, and power are challenged after their past secrets resurface as a curse when the heirs start dying at the hands of a mysterious woman from their youth. Kelsey, who previously worked with Flanagan on The Midnight Club and Midnight Mass as an art director, had the joy of building not one but multiple homes of the macabre, one for each member of the Usher family. They were also assigned colors: red for Perry, blue for Frederick, orange for Vic, silver for Camille, green for Tamerlane, yellow for Leo, purple for Madeline, and gold for Roderick, that made their space distinct, whether they were inside their residence or beyond it. That, coupled with so much death, and the replacement of Frank Langella as Roderick by Greenwood following reports of on-set misconduct, created a few unique challenges for the production designer. "We rebuilt massive sets," Kelsey told The Hollywood Reporter about how the series res-hopped the show after Langella's departure. "And it was exactly the same because if we had the opposite side or coverage with another character that he was in the scene with, we kept that footage and just changed his side." To help with some of the more regular challenges of production design, Kelsey says her theater background came in handy. "The thing that helps me the most from theater, that a lot of the time when I work with other designers that come from just a film background don't necessarily have, is the moving parts element. To be more efficient with our budget, we're using the same walls, and I'm coming up with ways to change out 3 or 4 walls, or change the shape of the windows to get a whole new look out of the set that works better for our schedule, for the budget." At New York Comic Con, ahead of the show's debut, THR spoke with Kelsey about building Usher's homes, its color coordination, working from Flanagan floor plans, and the most challenging death for the show's production design. "How did you approach the design on the Usher's main house for this series versus the heirs?" "I love that it wasn't just one central house this time, but the main house for me was Roderick's childhood home, which had a digital side extension of top on the exterior. That house was most like the Poe original house, in that it was scripted as a 1950s suburban home, and his mom has very little money. It doesn't have the opulence and the wealth of the original story of the fall of the House of Usher, so it had to be a subdued version. But that's where I brought in some Gothic architecture and Victorianism into this old 1890s home. That house we also see through multiple time periods, so it was the most detailed of the houses, even though it was probably the smallest. Then, each of the kids get their own individual house, Mike assigned each of the kids colors. Those colors in their homes, but also everywhere from their clothes to their offices. Can you break down the color guide you were using for each?" "Perry had red, Vic was orange, Camille had silver, green was for Tamerlane. The idea behind all that was to give each a color story. They have these gruesome deaths, and in the death scene, you notice all the light and all the saturation of the color. That came from Mike and then Michael Flanagan, who's the cinematographer and co-director. Michael and I sat down, went through each of the colors and dictated how it would present in the set, how saturated or unsaturated it would be, where he would go with lighting. Then, we layered in with costumes, hair and makeup, which also picked up on the colors. I was actually the first part of designing this.